Time is 5 o'clock. Call this meeting to order. Please stand with me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so it's a new year and we have a new commissioner. So the first thing on our agenda is to swear in our newly elected commissioner, Mike Springs.
Please rise. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I'll try not to torture you.
Okay,
I, Mike Spring,
I, Mike Spring,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I am a citizen of the United States
that I'm a citizen of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
that I am legally qualified to assume
that I'm legally qualified to assume
the office of Columbia County Port Commissioner number 2.
I can assume.
What did I say? To assume the office of, let's stop there.
To assume the office of
Columbia County Port Commissioner number 2,
Columbia County Port Commissioner number 2,
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington.
and that I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties of this office,
I will
discharge the duties of this office
office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now that we have a full commission, we'll go ahead and open up for our initial public comment period. Please limit your time to 3 minutes per person and state who you are and where you're from. Is there any public comment in the room? Go ahead.
Jerry Kaiser, 117 South 8th. I'd like to address the sale of the railroad. I would ask the commissioners to put off any selling of the railroad prior to the federal government making a decision on the removal of the dams on the lower Snake River, because it will directly affect the value of that asset. That's all I'd like to say.
I'm going to go ahead and respond to that. I just read recently that that has been put off indefinitely because they cannot currently replace all the services that are provided by the dams. And until all services that are provided by the dams, both in transportation, electric, irrigation, and until all that can be replaced, they cannot legally sell or they cannot legally remove the dams. So they're going to be there for several years at minimum. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a while.
I read an article day before yesterday about that the federal government had all, and the Biden administration had planned to go ahead and move forward with that.
But they legally can't, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but the federal government's just issued $307 million in grants for rail improvement for the grain train, earmarked specifically for Southeast Washington. And my feeling is they didn't earmark $307 million if they weren't planning on going ahead and removing the dams.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Any other comments in the room? Hearing none, is there any comments on Zoom?
Yes,
Go ahead.
You just muted yourself.
I know. There we go. Unmuted. Yeah, I didn't believe Gary either until I actually read the articles the other day. We talked about it on our own. I think there's a very good chance that the federal government will remove the dams. There's a path for it in the government. Does not need Congress's approval. And it's well on its way to getting through the bureaucracy that is there. I was very surprised. So don't say it's not going to ever happen. I think that would be very short-sighted. Thank you.
Any other public comment, either in the room or on Zoom? Okay, we'll continue on with our administrative items then. With Jeannie not being here, she was our secretary, so we need to elect a new officer to the office of secretary. So is either commissioner interested in that role?
I would certainly be able to perform the duties of secretary if
Okay.
you don't want to.
I would be okay with that.
Okay.
Well, it seems we have one interested party in it. So Mike Spring would like to be the secretary. So I guess with that nomination, we'll go ahead and vote on that. All those in favor of Mike Spring as secretary, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, we have a new secretary. Moving on, approving the minutes. Did the commissioners have an opportunity to review December's minutes? Are there any questions, concerns, or comments on the minutes?
I'm not.
I didn't see any. Cause I was reading on my small screen, so
Right.
I was trying to catch up here.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
We have a motion to approve December's minutes. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve December's minutes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, minutes are approved.
See how easy this is, Mike?
I'm normally on the other side of fire chief, so.
All right, let's go ahead and review the monthly budget report and approving of vouchers.
Okay, things of note I'd like to bring to your attention. As we were trying to work through the month of December and get reimbursements for all of the outlays we had in December, that became pretty problematic. So, rather than end the year with no money in the bank, which the auditor hates, we canceled 2 of the warrants that we had issued in December and reissued them in this voucher. And that would be the Anderson Perry for $146,776.28.
Right.
And the Petrichor, $74,663.00.
Right.
So it was, you know, there's a lot of nuance to this because of reimbursements, and the state auditor's office is not good at nuance. You know,
Right.
they want us to have money in the bank when the year ends, so. That's what we did, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. One big bill to the Department of Commerce, $10,652, that is, we're very close to paying off the sewer extension at Blue Mountain Station. That could be, I can't remember if it's the last or the next to last payment, so that's just a once a year payment. I think that was it, that I thought might grab your attention. So do you have any questions on those vouchers? Any other questions?
No, you answered the questions that I had, so.
Okay.
Nope, I don't.
And then on the budget report, we also had, you know, we have to, all of our funds, flow through the county, so our year-end report from them for December was not, I can't remember what the problem was, but we were off a little bit. I think part of it is because of a correction they made that may not have been reflected on our budget report. So that's why we didn't give you a year end yet.
Right.
And that's why you need to not necessarily believe the, I don't know which, I was sick on Monday, so Tracy did this by herself, so I can't remember like temporary investment. I mean, we had more than that in the temporary investment when the year ended but I think the total revenue is about right, but that stuff it'll be finalized next month as soon as we get that final report from the county for sure.
Okay.
Squared away.
All right, then.
We always have to account for unredeemed checks and all that stuff, so. But I think we ended the year with about 350,000, about 360,000 in the bank, so.
Is that including reserve?
That includes the reserve, and that doesn't include, like, over $200,000 in reimbursements we're still waiting for. So we actually ended the year in great shape. It just was the way, where it's falling.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, the CURB, the director from CURB that approves the reimbursements was on vacation. You know how it is with the holidays. It was just really hard to get business done, so.
Right.
We need a motion to approve the vouchers.
Our signatures are the approval for that.
Yep, so this one, you can all three sign, one of each sign on one. You'd sign on the bottom probably, middle or bottom, yeah, I think bottom. Bottom of the rung. Okay, and then since you're the new secretary, you get to sign the minutes,
All right.
and that's just you, so you get to sign those. Thank you, Tracy, for keeping me in line. No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, at the beginning of the year, in January, at our meeting, we review the policies and make any adjustments necessary for the upcoming year. So what do we have for the 2024 policies?
Okay, we, wanted to make some changes in the personnel policy. So starting on page 4, and you had all these in your packet, so I don't know if you have questions or not, but I'll just go over them real quick. I wanted to put in here in clear writing that 70 hours per month or more, employees must participate in PERS, so that if I get hit by a truck, the next person doesn't make the same mistake and not have people participate in PERS. So get that in writing. And then the Commissioner Springs had asked about the possibility of participating in the port's healthcare system as a bridge year, I think you were saying, until you were,
Till June.
okay, 6 months. So I didn't really know much about that. I talked to our insurance company, which is the Washington County's Insurance Fund, and they said it's allowed. So I would say we would only probably want to allow it at the commissioner's expense. I mean, that's not something we can bear. That's too much of a cost for the port to bear. So that is kind of what I was proposing there, is that we just add the words "and commissioners." And then later in the policy, I added "at their own expense." I can't remember where.
I read it.
Sorry, Jimmy, that was for him to be covered under insurance? What was?
Health insurance
Self-insurance, okay.
that I can fly into their view at my own expense.
Yes, commissioners may take advantage of the WCIF Health Benefit Program at their own expense on page 6.
Yeah.
So those were those, and then compensation schedules, I increased the executive director ranges because I would have been exceeding what the range was with the last raise you gave me. Added the economic development coordinator upper range, added $5,000 an hour to that, just so that it matched the office manager,
No.
$5.
Okay.
Sorry. Jill is valuable.
Okay.
He does have a very bad head cold.
Okay, I added the 70 hours a month must participate in the PERS program again to make sure that it's never forgotten again. And that, I think that was it for personnel. Any questions or comments on that one?
Well, pretty straightforward for me.
Okay.
I appreciate the format that was put together too, as far as, to see what the changes were.
Thank you.
Seen them before, where you come across and they get the changes in them. And then we go back and just figure out what the changes were, so I appreciate that.
Good. We have Tracy and I were a good team on that. All right, and then the other next two are very minor. They're the small and attractive assets lists, which aren't really changes. It's just as we purchase things that might have a value that somebody could pick up and walk away with, we add them to these lists so that they are accounted for. So that is both the port general, which is basically the industrial park, and also Blue Mountain Station. A lot of it has to do with the commercial kitchen,
Mhm.
that equipment. So those two are pretty self-explanatory. And then the last one is the Tracy, as the collector of debts, is wanting, in all of our leases for all of our tenants, there is a stipulation that lays out late fees and interest that would be charged on people that pay late.
Right.
The commercial kitchen is different. It's hourly. There are no leases. And so we did not have any mechanism to charge a late fee if we were to need to. So Tracy asked that we add this, and I thought it was just fine. It's the same. We didn't add interest, but we did add the late fee, $25 late fee,
I think
which is
that
the
makes
same as
sense.
the tenants.
Can I go back to the attractive,
Oh, sure.
just a question, wouldn't it be better as appendices to the policy that we aren't approving it every year, so if you buy 10 lawnmowers next year, you just add them in as you go?
Well, we can add them in anytime,
Okay, but do we have to review them as the commissioners? You're
not when I buy them, no.
right.
I don't know. I remember that when I started here, that was one of the things that we were, the very first audit I went through that they pointed out we didn't have.
Is.
So that was why I had done it this way as a policy.
Okay. Good. I've seen them just as an inventory that you would keep.
It's not something that you
in
would see.
policy. Yeah, not as a commissioner,
Hmm,
because all the wrenches on a fire truck in the toolbox type thing,
yeah,
I didn't need to see those.
well, you only see it once a year,
Okay.
so
Okay, I'm just
I don't know
saying,
if
as
it
you
hurts
update
anything.
it,
Yeah,
being a policy, this seems like there's a step.
like we're changing a policy in the middle of the year because we
Yeah.
added something to it.
Yeah, and you really aren't. You're just adding to the inventory of the stuff you own as the port.
Well, I could sure ask the auditor if it needs to be a policy or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just,
I'd be happy to do that.
just seems like it'd be simpler if, here's your inventory every year, Commissioner.
Just show it to you. Okay, yeah. All right, you can note of that,
And the policy is
that we have a small and attractive assets list.
yeah,
And that there's an audit conducted of it.
yeah, somebody does
yeah,
an inventory of it.
Yeah.
And so I had a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it says annually, you do that? Is there a documentation or a form where you just go through, initial date that it's there where it says it's located?
No,
So.
we go through, we reviewed it this year. I mean, we go through it every year, but not like we're walking around and checking off the box. No. That is a, that's,
One of the things would be, so, okay, we have 6 on here. Yep, we still have 6.
and it's
Have we
marked.
seen the 6?
Mhm.
Are they where the location says tool shed, wherever it may be, right? So that would be the accountability part of that is probably the important part of the policy, is the accountability part of it.
Somebody
that the
owns
auditors.
inventory.
Yeah, exactly. So,
we actually have what we say.
yeah, 4 years from now, we go back through and get audited and someone goes through and says, hey, it says it's here.
Yeah.
You're missing 4
You're missing-
lawnmowers.
Yeah, lawnmowers are not there anymore.
So that
I
part.
actually did do the inventory of the tool shed, because I was questioning that too. It's like, do we really have these things? So,
Yeah.
so that part did get done.
And it may be something, with this, you just add a column, make a check date, initial, and so the documented, we have this, and this is where it's at.
Yeah, and if it gets stolen, we know that
Then
it
you
was
know,
there
yeah,
then, but it's not there now.
And you should have documentation of that, so then when you come back to your audit and say stolen, missing, broken,
Yeah,
whatever it is, and
Excess.
the justification of why it's not where it's supposed to be.
okay.
But yeah, I like looking at it and that would be something probably if I was to do it, looking at it as an auditor. Okay, where's the documentation that we actually audit this every year?
sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't be sorry. No, don't be sorry at all. That is a fine thing to do. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns about our policy adjustments and changes, including the attractive assets? Okay, then I'm gonna accept a motion to accept these policy changes as they've been written with the suggestions made by the commissioners.
I will make a motion that we accept the policy as written, with the changes discussed in this meeting with
All
commissioners.
second.
could you add just one thing to it and renew the other policies?
And
That we
renew the other
didn't-
policies, yes.
Change.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep, and renew the other policies that are currently in practice.
I'll second.
Okay, have a motion and a second to accept the policies as written, the changes and renewing the other existing policies. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, that passes.
Okay, and then the next one is the delegation of authority. This is the document that the Washington Public Ports Association highly recommends that all ports have in place. That just formally delegates some administrative authority to the executive director. And this has not changed except for dates. And thank you, Commissioner Brian, for catching that one date that I missed. So unless you have additions or changes, we just readopt it every year and
Right.
just to kind of spell things out.
So on the table, we have resolution number 2024-01, which is the delegation of authority for the executive director. Have the commissioners reviewed that and had a chance to think it over and
The only discussion I have is that enough? Is the budget amount or the dollar amount high enough in case of emergency that you can get stuff done? Furnace goes out,
Yes,
okay,
yep,
okay.
yep, it is. And we went through this when we did that,
Yep.
new federal procurement and local
Right.
procurement policy. We went through it and actually increased them a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm fine with it. Yep,
All right.
yep. And if it really is a true emergency, most of these things go out the window.
Right.
Like if I had to, really,
Yeah. something bad happened.
yeah, but no, it is absolutely enough.
yes, we do need to make a movement. Because it's a resolution.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Even though it has signatures, it is a resolution, yeah.
So I would accept a motion to accept resolution number 2024-01, the delegation of authority for the executive director.
Also move.
I'll second that resolution number 2024-01.
Okay, so with a motion and a second for resolution number 2024-01, all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion passes.
And these I need signatures.
Oh, check that. It's no problem, yeah.
No leases.
Yeah, we didn't, no. We had them all last month. Remember the giant stack we had?
Yeah. Okay, since I skipped leases, we don't have any, so we'll go ahead and move on to task force board position.
So the Dayton Development Task Force, which is the Main Street group that operates in our town, has designated positions, and the Port of Columbia has a designated position, and I have been the representative for many years. I'm the secretary, Tracy takes minutes, Jill attends, but Commissioner Spring expressed interest in being on the board. So I am fine with that. It doesn't mean I can't still go to the meetings, but he expressed interest in serving in the port position. So I thought I'd put it on the agenda and see what y'all think.
Is Tracy on the board too?
She's not on the board, because it has really
Prescribed.
prescribed positions, like one county commissioner, one city of Dayton rep, one port, two downtown business owners, two downtown building owners, a retail representative, and then like an at-large. So they're very prescribed, but the port just provides a lot of support to the task force, so that's why we're all there. So
So he would be taking your position then?
he would, yeah. Yeah, because it needs to be, if he wants to be on there, he needs to be the port representative.
Right.
So, but like I said, it doesn't mean I can't go to the meetings and participate. It
Right.
just means he would be the formal representative.
And I told her that she would need to kind of direct me for a while to make sure I'm doing what the port needs to do on the committee, not Mike Spring as a business owner.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just want to make sure, and it's nothing you have to appoint or anything unless you want to, but I just want to make sure you're all okay with that switch.
Yeah, I'd like to step up and try to, our downtown's important.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I had, and you kind of addressed it there, would be the representation of the port,
Yeah,
not representation of your business.
correct.
Because that's not a member on that, well, it is, but not,
No,
but not in your role
right,
as you want to do that, so it'd be, I'm okay with that for, representing the port, for that.
yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm not representing Chief Springs. I'm representing this group.
Yeah, I don't have an objection as long as there's not any, specific conflict of interest or it's not going to, like you had said, be personal for your business. It's going to be representing the Port of Columbia. So I don't have an objection to it.
Okay, all right, we'll carry on then.
Next on the agenda, we have update on port assets, starting with Rockdale Industrial.
Okay, we today sent out a notice to all the tenants about the cold that's coming, because it's going to be very cold. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's going to be below zero. So we just reminding them that they're responsible for heating their areas and keeping their pipes from freezing. So you'd be surprised how often people need to be reminded of things like that, like open the bathroom door and let the heat in. So we did that. We had a couple of electrical repairs this month. Red Band, where was the other one you told me?
Cowboy bullets.
Oh, Cowboy Bullets, that's right. And then we had trouble with the Christmas lights down at Blue Mountain Station. Ended up not being our problem,
Correct.
but we had to verify that it wasn't our problem. And then snow removal, I was talking earlier, we had a very hard time finding anyone this year, but it's Kyle's Custom Toys and Towing did finally agree to do it today, so we've got that lined up. Just in the nick of time.
Question on the snow. Just curiosity, where's our obligation or liability when it comes to the inclement weather, snow removal, ice melt, stuff like that for those businesses? Is it the businesses? Or is it the port that has, hey, you will make sure that you clean off your sidewalks and make sure there's ice melt out for slip strips and falls for the safety of that?
The businesses in this industrial park are responsible for their own sidewalks.
Okay,
We are responsible for plowing the road.
okay,
But at Blue Mountain Station, not the second building, he's responsible for his own sidewalks and everything. But the first building, because it's a multi-tenant
Yeah.
building, we take care of the sidewalks.
okay.
Because we couldn't rely on one business to do the sidewalks for everyone. So, and then the back parking lot with ice melt. We luckily don't have to do ice melt here because it's gravel.
Right.
But, and then the only exception to what I've just said is that the USDA building, we have a full service lease, so we are responsible for clearing their sidewalks and putting down ice melt. And that's very clear directive that we all understand, and if it's not done the minute we get to work and the snowplow guy hasn't been there, we go do it ourselves, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we kind of have that laid out pretty clearly.
Mhm.
But if it's their own building, that isn't shared, they're responsible for their own sidewalks, definitely. Okay, anything else in the industrial park that you could think of?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, Lions Ferry.
Nothing new on lights. Oh, I guess the only thing I'm still trying to track down, and again, I don't know if it's the holidays or what, but I have not gotten an answer back from the RCO on the planning aspect of us being able to apply for funds. I'm still waiting, so
Right.
I sent him another email today and so I'm still waiting to find out what we can do there.
Okay. Blue Mountain Station.
Okay, so I am continuing discussions with the Conservation District, they're gonna lease the garden for sure, and they've got a good plan for that. And then we're continuing discussions on a potential expansion for them there. And I am having a market analysis done of the entire site, not just the 21 acres, but also the 7 acres at the other end,
Mhm.
just the whole thing. So that is in process,
Okay,
just for pricing of things. And it could be that it just ends up being a land lease. But anyway, so we've been talking and I understand clearly what she needs. And so probably at the February meeting, we would have another potential discussion on some of that as far as some actual prices go for a lease. And then just got the final craft malt feasibility study. It came in my inbox today, so I haven't even looked at the final, but that should be completed. I did learn from the malter that he was exploring multiple locations, which was disappointing for me to hear, but I have not talked that through with him yet.
Mhm.
So we'll see what he's up to. And I don't think I have anything else. I mean, the next step would be to go to Curb and get some money for infrastructure, but we gotta make sure we know exactly what's happening when we do that, so. I need to have my conversation with him. And, you know, the conservation district is kind of feeding in there too, so
Mhm.
there may be some good things to apply to Curb for infrastructure, so.
Okay.
Still working on that.
okay. And CWW Railroad.
So that is just the appraisal in process. I mentioned to you in my email that the appraiser wanted the val maps, which we do not have. I don't know if we'll ever get them, so I have to work with him and figure out what, I mean, if we were gonna get them, we've tried.
Right.
I mean, I don't know that we'll ever get them, so I'm gonna have to work with him and find out what we would do in place of those if we cannot find them.
Okay.
The management company of the right of way has sent him they're continuing to pull together leases and other information that have to do with revenue and sending it his way, so.
Okay.
This is gonna take a few months, so this is not gonna be overnight, so anyway, it's moving forward, he's working on it.
Okay. So broadband, Dayton Community Broadband Project update.
Okay, so that project, like I said, is complete. We do have paperwork to finish up. We have to get a sign off from the state of Washington on all the prevailing wage paperwork that was turned in by the primary contractor and any subs that they used. And we still have not received that. So there's about $65,000 in retainage that we still have in the bank that we will release once we get that document. We're still waiting on the final reimbursement from Curb, which was, do you remember? 170?
Yeah, one like.
About 170,000. And then that's it. I think that's it. We ordered more drops. We are completely out. Not only are we, well, except for the long ones, we have some like 2,000 foot drops. But we are completely out and we've even robbed the drops from the next project and they're gone. So, and the ISPs still have a lot of people to sign up, so it's extremely successful. And we ordered drops, we're just expecting them. We expected them a couple weeks ago, but they didn't come, so now they're telling us the 15th. The ISPs are all very anxious to get, because if customers are mad because they're not getting hooked up, some of it is because there's no drops. So, just so you know, we didn't expect this many people to sign up this fast. I think that's it on that project. It's we've gotten some fun emails. I got an email from one guy in December and he said, thank you for the internet. And he sent me a screenshot of his speed test and it was 931 megabytes or something like that. It was just huge.
What are we at for the percentage of, people hooking up now?
I don't know. We didn't count.
It hasn't gone up a whole lot because we're waiting on the drops.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it did go up quite a bit. I think there's.
We'll have to
probably
count.
Maybe like
Mhm.
20 more or so.
Let's count for next time
I
so we
counted
can,
it, but I
yeah.
don't
Okay,
remember.
yeah,
Sorry.
I didn't count.
Okay, so how's the Tushi Valley Broadband Project coming?
Well, it is coming along. We are having more, this is a more difficult project for multiple reasons. I guess I will just say that we were extremely lucky to have 0 dB on the first project. And I'll leave it at that. We have a lot of, management to do on this project. We had one issue of damage that was posted on Facebook. but he, you know, they are very willing to fix things. They're just not, the communication that they have amongst, you know, like if you hit somebody's fence, you know, leave them a note. That kind of stuff. But that damage is repaired and the homeowner contacted me and was very happy. I wish they would post that on Facebook, but that's not the way it works. So really it's going fine. Now it's getting muddy. And so he's concerned about, we may have to give him some weather days because it's getting pretty mucky.
Right.
But it's going fine. Just, I think we've talked to almost every potential customer on this project already with, I want it over here, and is it coming to my house? And I want it to my barn too. So it's been interesting. It is supposed to be done by the end of January, but like I said, because of the weather, I don't know that it will be. We also need to add, we've had a person put in a double wide since we did the design. We've had, I think I've told you that there were 5 houses left out of the first project that we're gonna add. And because the county's fixing the Rose Gulch Bridge, we wanna put fiber across the bridge. So those are change orders that are probably gonna be added to the project. So I've seen a spreadsheet, the cost was not exorbitant, it was about $85,000, and we've got room in the budget, plenty of room in the budget. So we're probably going to add those, which will also add a little more time to the project. So not looking at a January 31st completion at this point, due to those issues or those additions and the weather. But it's going fine. It's just not as pretty as the first one.
Right. And the rural broadband planning,
We are having a meeting on Thursday, so I can learn more about the potential of this. I don't know if this BEAD funding is gonna turn out for our county, but I'm gonna know more on Thursday. I guess it's tomorrow. I'm gonna know more tomorrow. So I'll get back to you next month.
okay. That takes care of our port assets. Let's go ahead and move on to community and economic development. What do we have for staff reports?
Well, other than all the things I mentioned above that I've been working on, I have been helping with the school levy work. And I've spent a fair amount of time on that. And I also did WSDA grant reviews for a value-added ag grant, which was very interesting. I always learn a lot through those. And then just other minor odds and ends, not a lot more to report than my usual work. So I think I'll let Jill speak about all of the fun things.
Sure. Last night we had our social media workshop. We had 8 people attend. They were all from a variety of different businesses, which is really cool. So we had that last night, and then we'll have that again on the 23rd. We already got people signed up, so I'll be going around getting more business owners to come and join us for that. So I thought it was super successful. Got a lot of people's questions answered, and hopefully we can really help them get on social media and realize that it's not as scary and as intimidating as it might seem for these small businesses. So that was really awesome. The Commerce has entered a contract with this tool called EconoView, which is actually a really interesting tool. It shows a lot of different businesses all over the state, and you can search by industry. And so I've been playing around with that tool. They've had some trainings and they're coming out with a training series. So I'm going to attend that because I think it'd be really useful in pulling some economic data for us, but also in our BRE efforts. You can see businesses all over the state.
Is that the one that they showed us at that conference? That was part of the Dun and Bradstreet or not? It's different, okay.
So yeah, doing that. I gave you the data sheet. You can look at it. It's just the December analytics for East Columbia County. That's still getting some growth. So we've been working a lot on that. I go to the ones for the businesses and the spaces. We're hoping to continue our outreach there. So it's still just organic growth. I don't think we've done a paid post yet. So all the growth is just from people seeing the posts more and more. So.
Do you know if the realtors have gotten any interest from the empty businesses you've shown?
I haven't heard any updates now,
Okay.
but I haven't really followed up too much.
Have any of you seen them?
On Choose Columbia County.
Yes, I have.
Okay, okay, good.
Where would I see it?
On Facebook,
On
it's a,
Facebook and
but it's a
Instagram.
reel, they're reels, most of them are reels,
Videos.
the videos.
Okay. And what Facebook? Am I?
Choose Columbia County,
Okay,
choose Columbia County law.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, those videos, they look good. They're nicely done.
Mhm.
Yeah, everyone really appreciates it, and I think it's just another chance to showcase all, like, Columbia County and all the, like, businesses and,
Yeah, we just need to push it out further, and I know that that's what she's working on.
yes. But she's done a lot of great efforts in networking and connecting with people.
I think she has a, like, first you get the organic growth and the viewers, and then you push it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
And how long have we hired her to be on?
We did it for 6 months. Right now, it is so worth the value.
Right.
And she did the classes. I mean, she just threw that in.
Yeah, that was enough.
So we're all totally thrilled with her.
Mhm.
Very thrilled. So
Mhm.
she's been great to have.
Mhm. I've been working on newsletters, doing all of those, and then working on flyers. On that Choose Columbia County, she made a graphic. So we're trying to pull people to that page, and so we're putting all the, like, our workshops and then all the events that are going on, but we try to get it.
On the webpage, you mean?
No, on Choose Columbia County.
On the Facebook page?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I made a flyer with all the events and the workshops, and I went and put those all at the downtown businesses and talked to them and tried to get them to our social media workshop. We made some progress talking to one of the downtown businesses. They made some progress with trying to buy their building, so that's been really good. Yeah. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Housing, the only new thing I have to report is there is a bill introduced in the legislature to create workforce housing revolving loan fund, which might be interesting. I mean, not that we're gonna borrow money, but maybe somebody else will. I attended the WIDA, housing monthly meeting they've been having again, and it was the same discussion as it has been over and over again about developers not wanting to come to small communities. So, I think we probably need to, well, I've said this before, find a consultant that can help us come up with some sort of a high level plan and then help us target people. So that is my 2024 goal.
Okay. Okay,
Target
workforce
development.
development.
Okay, so was it tied for number 3 or voted number 3 in our, by the community in our project list? And I thought maybe we should talk about it. The girls and I talked about it at length today. Really, it's hard to know what to do about workforce development. You know, if we don't have enough housing here, then there isn't any place for somebody to live. But, we've heard, you know, from the ag community, they continue to have trouble finding people to hire and, you know, they've really increased their wages and they're offering benefits. They're really trying to make the jobs more attractive. So one avenue we could work on would be trying to keep our kids here.
Mhm.
Another thing that Jill brought up today, which I thought was really interesting, I hadn't thought much about it, was trying to keep people that work in Walla Walla working in Dayton. But, so I just thought maybe we should just have a little discussion about it. Because really, that means a lot of the things that are offered in Walla Walla that people drive there to work for aren't offered here. You know, it's not like it's the high-paying, great benefit pension jobs that are struggling here. It's more the service industry. You know,
Mhm.
so it's not like it's. And then the Walla Walla Community College approached me and said, you know, here's a USDA grant, maybe we could apply for a grant together and do workforce development. And I read it. And it was completely focused on high-paying jobs. It's like, that is not where I see our biggest need here.
Mm.
Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Housing is a big component of that, well, I mean.
It is,
We,
right.
we have workers that live in Walla Walla, because that's the only place they can afford to drive here.
And then vice versa, there are a lot of people that live here and work in Walla Walla because they can afford to buy a house here.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not bringing this to you as I have all the answers. I'm just kind of thinking we need to come up with some strategies. I told Jill maybe what we should do is survey the businesses and ask them what the biggest need is. What kind of worker is the biggest need? It could be though that working on housing would be the best thing we could do for workforce development.
Right.
I don't know.
People just aren't here.
Mhm.
And
Well, and the people that are here are older. They're not a working age,
Right.
so.
We have a lot of absentee owners over the last few years. People have came here that ski and recreate in our area, have bought the cheap homes. And spent $100,000 to remodel them and make them more of a recreation destination type of home.
I did not know we had
Oh, yeah,
a lot
we
of
have
those.
a lot of people that own homes within our community that don't live there. That's not their primary residence. And so that took those homes off the market. And they aren't gonna rent them, they own them.
Yeah.
One thing that was brought up at city council meeting yesterday, sorry to interrupt, but there was somebody who had asked about all the houses that have been burnt over the last 10 years that are still standing and are not being renovated, and asked if the city would step in to get the owners to start renovating those to possibly even rent out as affordable housing.
Here, here. Not the first time it's been brought up to the city.
But we need the city to enforce the code.
Right, which is, right now, the planner is a reluctant enforcer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But part of it is, to their credit, part of it is if you do that, the city has to be able to follow through. Like if they say you need to fix your house or else. And the person says, I can't do it. So then the city has to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna go in and put a lien on it. Or put a lien on the lot and take it and have the money to take it down. And have the money, they have to have the wherewithal to, because I've been complaining about the downtown buildings that are not being addressed.
But if there's maybe a grant opportunity that you could find to kind of help
Them do that.
homeowners, get some renovation going to start some affordable housing, and it could be different groups throughout the city, such as city council and the port. Maybe they can work together to get it moving.
There's a grant for that. I don't know.
Talk to Habitat for Humanity and somebody, instead of the city leaning their lot, they grant it over to Habitat for Humanity.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So where that can happen, the city's actually got to take action and.
They would, yeah, they'd have to enforce the code.
Right.
But if there's a way to do it, that might make the city more inclined to enforce the code.
Yes, the frustrations are, it's not just that you have work or not of housing. You have people out there, epidemic of people not wanting to work, are not coming to work, ready to work, and being viable employees. That's a real thing. It's probably always a real thing, but it just seems like it is a considerable real thing over the last couple of years. The other part of that, thinking outside the box, right? Because that's what we have to do. We don't have a playbook on saying, well, we can't build 13 houses and create a manufacturing plant and all this other stuff that would be super nice that you do on sim computer when you're building a game.
Yeah.
Those type of things. But if you take a look at it and say, okay, what's our unemployment currently here in this location? Do we have people that would want to work? And then you take a look and say, okay, what kind of skills do they have? Do they have some carpentry skills? And could there be Habitat Humanity or partnering with the city and coming together as a group and saying, all right, we want to help these individuals get these houses that could be used, and we can help employ some of the people in training with that. Now, I don't have a magic wand to be able to do that. But once upon a time, back in the day, when my grandparents and stuff, communities came together, And that was part of the solutions, is to be able to do that. So I think an avenue to look at is not just what the port can do, because port can't fix it. But how can we be a partner with the solutions and having those conversations with those outreach groups that are involved with, whether it's Habitat Humanity or whether it's WorkSource or whether what those incentives and counseling, whatever it is, there's lots of little fingers that would get this in that direction. But I think looking at it that way and seeing what we have here in the community as well, because I don't see a new housing project going up anytime soon to have Walla Walla here. Long term, yeah, absolutely. Take a look at that. But what can we do right now with the fruit that's on the tree that we already have?
When I was in high school, our carpentry class built a house every year as part of a senior project. And it was financed from different businesses and community groups, and whoever came together, the head of the carpentry program, went out and gathered support, and we built a house my senior year, and then they sold that, and that's what helped fund the next one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's possibilities out there.
You know, I feel like, well, community college carpentry used to do that.
They did.
It's been a long time, hasn't it, since they've done it?
They were doing it up until 3 years ago.
Were they? Okay.
Well, they started a project where they were building mini homes. They would go out and work with Habitat Humanity. It's part of their education process for building houses. And then they really got into the zero emission type houses, smart home type deal, because of what they do with the solar and the wind at that college area. So they were kind of in that group as well, doing that. So it'd just be interesting to see if, hit it at as many angles as possible, because not one angle is gonna get it.
Right, you are
And that's
right.
just a drop in the bucket, but that
Yeah.
might be something that when I was walking around talking with folks, and I agree, when you look around and there's an abandoned building here, and there's an abandoned building here, and it's like, okay, we have abandoned buildings, they either don't want to or can't afford it, to fix it. Is there programs out there that we can get some of these people, they're in the community to work, build those skill sets, and then fix houses at the same time? I mean, yeah, it sounds like a
Win-win.
kind of a pipe dream, but you gotta dream before you can make it happen, so. That's kind of my scoop on that, what I'd like to see, the community come together like that.
Mhm. It almost seems like it'd be easier to tackle the problem if it was an unemployment problem, because then it's a matter of getting industry to move in and business to move in, which is more in the, port's direction, and port's wheelhouse.
And what we had to do for so long,
Right.
and now
And now we're
it's
flipped,
upside down.
we're absolutely upside down, and unemployment's rock bottom, and we just don't have people to work the jobs that we have here. So how do we get the people here to work the jobs that we have?
Or get the kids to stay.
Right.
And are the jobs good enough for them to want to stay for?
Right.
I mean, you've got to have service sector jobs. You have to,
Well,
and they're just not as high paying and,
from my experience, we were a stepping stone for a lot of kids going to college and going. And now a lot of our employees were their career. And it seems odd that making pizzas and serving customers is your chosen career instead of a stepping stone to go on to crafts or industry that.
all right, well, we'll continue to research what we think it might be able to do, if anything, and
Well,
keep working on the housing thing and.
could we get a community group of investors that could buy some of their like project properties and then make it a project? And them get their returns back over a period of time. To have 50, 60 people that were willing to invest $1,000 each, you could buy some of the derelict, burned out housing
It's true.
and move them along. One house built a year is better than what we're doing right now in some of our areas in our community.
It's not a bad idea. If there was a leader who understood what they were doing, you know, somebody leading it that knows about reconstruction and remodel and,
Or that
Whatever.
was just a spark plug that could go grab the person that knows.
Yeah. okay, interesting. I'm jotting down all the ideas. All right, I think
That's it.
that was it. Yeah.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Kurt, have anything else they'd like to discuss?
Glad to be a part of it. Thank you for having,
Glad you're here.
Welcome aboard.
thanks for all the support from the community.
That's it. I'll go ahead and open it up to final public comment period. Please limit your time this time to 1 minute and go ahead if there's anybody in the room.
Jerry Kaiser, 117 South 8th. In your appraisal process for the railroad, are your appraisers taking into consideration that if dams go away, the increased value of the railroad?
Again, that's a pretty hypothetical question, but
And another thing on the housing, back when I was volunteering for Habitat for Humanity Tri-Cities, they're looking for places to develop into small developments, property to buy. So if you contacted Habitat for Humanity or,
I have not, no. They really are?
yeah,
Okay,
that's one of the conversations, like, reach out to those outreach groups.
Yeah.
And see what they know, you know, cause it's their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
A lot of times that we don't have information that they have, and having the conversation and say, all right, what's the need? What are you guys doing? What are you guys about? What's the opportunity there? And then that will spark another conversation to go talk to someone else. And then, that's generally how those things snowball. So yeah, that would be a great idea.
we had a Habitat for Humanity here briefly, many, many years ago. It was not particularly popular.
they're a tri-county habitat. Tri-Cities is a tri-county habitat. And I know they've got a development going in Pasco. So we're actively looking for property to
All
buy.
right, I will
To
call
put the
them.
roads in and sewer.
I will call them.
And
Great idea.
develop it as they get qualified applicants to bid for.
Okay. Got
Kind
it.
of like with any of that, depends on who's managing it, right?
Right, yeah,
That's how
here,
the reputation goes. And
here, the reason became unpopular because people, you know, whatever, the house got run down and after it was turned over to the family that had helped build it but that was a long time ago. It was over 20 years ago, so we can have a fresh memory of it. We can erase our memories. Okay,
Okay, any other public comment either in the room or on Zoom? Okay, with that, the time is 5:58 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
thank you.
Tracy, thanks for the water.
All right, I'm gonna have you sign this oath of office.
I'm gonna put my glasses back on, so it's all in the right place.
And then I will notarize it. There you go, this is signature, that's printed name.
You too.
I see you again.
Yeah, I'll probably be at the library working.
Okay.
Oh, let me stop this.
Doing great. How are you, sir? Good. Good. I mentioned.